Okay, throughout the M2F community, or the among the boys who want to look like girls or women, okay, they're feminizing their body. There is a negative misinformation about between injections, patches, and well, dermal patches and pills, and also injections. Okay, there is a propensity, like I would say, almost like 99% or 100% of the trans feminine, okay, boys who want to look like girls or women or whatever, okay, they privilege either pills or injections or gel, okay. The problem is with these three, for one thing, most estrogen, okay, in pills are synthetic. They're like non-natural, okay. So, and because the molecule does not look like the real estrogen, the 17 beta estradiol, which is the 100% feminizing estrogen out there. There is 17 alpha estrogen is not a feminizing hormone, okay, according to the Westerners, okay. The Chinese say the other way, the contrary on that, but I think I tend to agree on the Westerner on that, okay. So, and I was a little bit peeved about the patches, okay, because they kept falling off, okay, and for about almost 9 years I had Sandoz, okay, patches Sandoz, okay, which on the patches itself, or under the patches where the sticky part, this is where the molecules, the 17 beta estradiol, the actual molecule, the actual structure of the natural women's estrogen or hormone, okay. So they okay, so I've been taking this for about like 9 years, and it kept falling off every almost like 2 hours after. Sometimes it lasted like 2 weeks, the tops like 3 weeks, okay. The gel, unfortunately, when we get a prescription of estrogen, estradiol, the natural hormone, we usually get it on patches, okay. So like, I was just wondering why they're giving us patches if it keep falling off, we're not getting enough in our bloodstream, okay, and then we have to take something much more powerful to block off our testosterone, such as androcure or spironolactone or biculatamide, okay, and other anti-androgen. But the two biggest ones are the androcure, which is the much more powerful one, the much more efficient, okay, and also the spironolactone, which is the byproduct is anti-androgen. It lowers the testosterone to almost zero. Androcure, it's like more effective. It completely annuls testosterone. Okay, so a lot of trans women, they say throughout the community, like in forums or whatever, like generally the community, and they're saying, privilege injections. Well, injection costs. Like for example, in Canada or in Quebec, okay, it could cost about like $300, and it's not covered by the public insurance. So, and that's the injections, and also we have to go to Ontario or Toronto to get it, and when you're in Timmins or in Manitoba or in Quebec, I mean, it's a little bit far just to get some. So, okay, I've been taking those. So when I was first prescribed patches, estradiol patches, I had these ones, Estradot, okay. Okay, Estradot, these patches are much smaller, so I couldn't remember. He gave me only 50, the power of 50 instead of 100. Okay, today I'm supposed to take 2. And after that, my pharmacy decided to change from Estradot to Sandoz, okay, which is these patches. Okay, there's a big difference of size. Okay, so it turns out the Sandoz, the patch itself, like I'm not gonna open it because I don't want to waste the material. The patches are about that big. Okay, so, and it kept falling off like half an hour. Sometimes it doesn't stick. Sometimes, you know, a few could last about 1 week to 2 weeks, but after 2 weeks, most of the time they fall off. But most of them last only 1 day or 2 days. So the rationale I had behind it, okay, well, since pharmacies are selling these to us, that means when we stick the patch, it acts like a gel. Like all the sticky part goes into our skin, which the sticky part is the 17 beta-estrogen. Goes through our skin and it stays there, and then the patch falls off because there's no sticky part on the patch itself. So that's the rationale behind it. Okay, and recently, since at the end of August, okay, my pharmacy decided to sell me this. Okay, the old, I had these about like 10 years ago, only for about like four or 6 months. Okay, I can't remember. And it turns out that they do stay long time. For example, I had this for almost a month, and usually these big patches, they keep falling off. Okay, when you put them, like especially on your legs, on your arms, okay, sometimes if you put them right here, right there, they could last like 1 week, 2 weeks, which is, you know, but most of the time they just fall off. Okay, so this I placed a patch there just for a test. Okay, and eventually after 3 weeks it fell off. Okay, now I have to take these off. Okay, and I'll explain it later. Okay, these have been there for almost like a month and a half. Okay, so I'm gonna take these off. Okay, so the Estradot are these patches. They're smaller, they're thicker. The sticky part is thicker, so it's more concentrated compared to the big round patches of this. Okay, so it lasts, it stays there for a long time. So I placed one there. Okay, and this one here, now you can see that's been there for a month and a half since why am I doing okay, so it's been there since the beginning of September. Okay, and so it turns out that the Estradot stays long time until you take them out. Okay, so they do stick. Okay, but the rationale that if you use the big ones and then all the sticky part goes through into your skin, it's okay, I suppose. It acts like gel. Okay, but the problem is with gel is that I checked the molecular structure of 17 beta-estradiol, and there's just a tiny little bit different. I mean, it's the same atomic mass, which has the same number of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, same number, same structure. It's just like, it looks different. Like, I mean, unless the artist draw the molecule differently, they just inverted the top part. I'll show you. Okay, so this is 17 beta-estradiol right here. Okay, 17 beta-estradiol. The top part here just inverted. Place the OH at the bottom, which doesn't mean anything. But anyways, like, I don't know why he draw the house, the carbon cycle, which is a 5 carbon, which looks like a house. Okay, upside down. Okay, so I don't know what it means. Anyways, it could be a show of different chirality. I don't know, but I don't think so. Okay, but anyways, gel is a little bit more costly, and for some reason they have to prepare it in the pharmacy. It could go up to about $100 just for preparation. What they do, and a lot of the times what they do, they take the pills, which is the non-natural ones, and they crush it into the gel, and then you get that, and they say, well, 17 beta estradiol. I mean, I just don't trust them. Okay, I don't. When it comes up to doctors or medical doctors and pharmacists, like, I mean, they say something, like, I don't particularly trust them. I prefer to go to biology, physiology textbook on the human body, or go to a scientific paper and then read, actually read what they're what is that medication is, or what are actually the molecules. Okay, this is I can't trust. As a matter of fact, I can't trust anybody. Psychologists, medical doctors. That includes generalists, endocrinologists, and also psychiatrists, and pharmacists. I asked them question, and they gave me the wrong answers. Some of the times. I mean, they were honest. They really thought that was like a natural hormone. Okay, it's just they're not. No, sometimes they're not dishonest, but that's more like a political thing about the trans subject. Okay, so it's not something that. So I don't think it's malicious on their part, by saying. I guess we could say that they got brainwashed by the pharmaceutical company. Okay, so that is a problem. Okay, so I have to take them out and I have to stop taking placing patches. Stop taking 17 beta estradiol or especially that one, because it's the most powerful one, because I have a medical issue called heightened sense of smell. Okay, that means like every odor that I smell, people generally, people who have no medical condition about that. Okay, when they smell an odor, either like pleasant or unpleasant or bad, it's okay. Like they're not gonna get aggressed by it. Okay, but me, like every odor, cat pee, or rabbit pee. I have rabbits and cats. Okay, so, and also people with bad breath where I work, people with burnt toast, and even some soap like detergent for clothing. I've washed my my blankets, and I was sleeping, and every odor just aggresses me. It's like awful. Okay, so I have to stop. So I'm going to be stopping taking 17 beta estrogen, powerful estrogens such as the 17 beta estradiol, because I knew for a fact that, like, a long time ago, throughout my reading, is that women's estrogen tend to heighten the sense of smell for women. Okay, especially during when they have children or childbirth. Okay, especially when they have neonatal. The reason for that is that they to heighten the sense of smell of women during that period is they could recognize their baby, their newborn baby. They recognize them by the scent, and also they could recognize if the baby is sick, because even like I've watched my cats, and I've watched especially my cats about seeing a rabbit that is my cats have no issues with rabbit except when one is sick, one has a bug. Okay, for example, coccidia. Okay, I noticed, and they could smell, and also they know that when one of them is sick, because they could smell the disease. They could smell the microorganism that came into their one of them, or or into an animal or a human. Okay, so they could smell the disease coming out. Okay, and that's the same rationale for women. Women will smell their baby, and they'll know that their baby is sick. Okay, not all of them, but most of them. Okay, or unconsciously because of that heightened sense of smell. So I have to take them out. And there's another reason. Okay, there's another reason why. Okay, the real reason is that if I have an heightened heightened sense of smell, and I have a lot, and this is a very powerful estrogen, and also I might have too much estrogen. And if I have too much estrogen, I don't know. I read a lot about cancer. Okay, so I don't know if cancer will produce estrogen. Okay, so like I'm taking precaution for like breast cancer. Okay, because now and again my breasts are like very, very hot inside. They're seething actually sometimes. One time about 3 years ago, when I retook 17 beta, like I was taking my estrogen, and also I started drinking a lot of soy milk. And these two, the isoflavone inside the soy milk and the estrogen, women's natural estrogen, can be agonists. And that time they were agonists. So I had a bump. I don't know. I can't remember which breast. It was under my nipple. It was like a hard bump, and I panicked. It stayed there for about 2 weeks, and then it was gone. So I don't know. It could be an overreaction of the breast cells. I don't know. It could be. I don't think it's a cancer that has been attacked by my immune system. It could happen. Okay, but I'm just for precaution. I'm taking that. I'm not for an indefinite time. I'm stopping taking estrogen patches, or any estrogen, except for soy milk or for fruits that I eat. That's okay. So, and also I mentioned that I'm gonna go to my doctor, and I mentioned, okay, well, do I have breast cancer, just in case, because I've been checking about them, and I don't know what to look for when sometimes I check, but like I don't know what to look. So and I haven't found any bumps or anything like that, except for about 3 years ago. So I can't tell. So for now, like I am stopping taking. But anyways, if you bear in mind that taking 17 women's natural estrogen is important, okay, to attenuate or to regress our male sex secondary characteristics, okay, and also to feminize, or to give us some of the female sex secondary characteristics, such as breast, and also without the testosterone to block off the female traits on our body. The estrogen, there's three main ones. There's westrone, which is E1. Estradiol, which is 17 beta estradiol, is the feminizing one, which is called E2. 17 alpha estradiol is also called E2, but E2 alpha, I suppose. And then there's westrol. Westrol is E3. Okay. But all the three that I mentioned, except for 17 alpha estradiol, they feminize the body at different degrees, okay, or different at different levels, okay. So, and they feminize basically our skin, which adds up the third layer of fat. It feminizes our bone structure, our bones. It gives eventually, okay, it can some people, or at degrees, either visually, a degree visually, or a degree that's unvisual, meaning too small, to widen our hip bones. Okay, it does. There are some articles out there that explains that has found that out, and also it gives breast, skin, and also body hair, which is part of the skin. Basically, the fat layer, the third layer, which is the fat layer, is part of the skin, and also the body hair. Okay, the male body hair becomes masculine, virile hair becomes feminine hair, which is very small, transparent, and it's only at the surface of the skin. It's much smaller. Okay, that's because the epiderm of man is about like twice as thick as women. So the hair starts off in the derm, not the epiderm. So when it will grow much thicker than women. That's the rationale behind it. Okay, it's just like if you have thick skin, possibility if you have body hair there, like it will be thicker. Okay, so I'm going to be repeating this. I repeat this to the rationale. Okay, about not taking, and you don't need to take Androcure or spironolactone or biculotimide, bicalutamide. Okay, bicalutamide, which is some sort of Lupron. There's other types of spironolactone and Androcure, which are the three main ones. Okay, you don't need to take an anti-androgen or a progesterone. Okay. The rationale behind this. Okay, this is the sex hormone cascade. Okay, starts off from cholesterol. Okay, this is cholesterol. Okay, and then cholesterol gets turned into progesterone right here, and then progesterone gets turned into androstenedione. Okay, androstenedione, and then androstenedione can get either gets transformed into testosterone or into estrone from androstenedione. But also the progesterone has another path that gets without going through getting into testosterone. It goes directly to two molecules and then goes to estrone, and then estrone turns into 17 beta-estradiol. Testosterone here at the bottom gets changed into 17 beta-estradiol also, but also 17 alpha-estradiol. Okay, testosterone from here. Okay, and then 17 beta-estradiol can get changed into estrol, or estrone can get changed into estrol. Estradiol is the final solution, the final molecule, but it's a very weak sex hormone. It's a very weak estrogen. It has a power of like 2%. Okay, but the thing is with estradiol, apparently is what I read at some of the that I read, experimental papers about experiment that I read. Estradiol will activate some of the progesterone receptors. So estradiol is 2%, but it will activate 2% progesterone and also the receptors of 17 beta-estradiol. Okay, so the rationale between why just taking natural women's estrogen is because of the retro inhibition. Okay. And the way, okay, this is my big textbook on principle of anatomy and physiology of the human body. Okay, this version is in French. Now, let's see here. Okay, I have to find. At the beginning here. There you go. Okay. Okay, Rachel. Okay. Now, this is it. Okay. This part here is, it's the retro inhibition. It's called hold on. The regulation homeostatic of pressure mechanism. There it is. I think this one is better. Okay. This is the retroactivation. Okay, this is the retroactivation and retroactivation and retro inhibition. Okay, so what it says here is that you have a stimulus. Okay, here, and the stimulus tells the brain to produce a certain amount of one hormone. Okay, and then when the hormone, the high concentration of the hormone prevents this stimulus, okay, and when the stimulus goes down, okay, the brain notices that, and then eventually, when there's too much of it keeps hormones at the same level. When there's not enough hormones, the brain tells, okay, sorry, I made a mistake. When there's not enough of that hormone, the brain reads it and tells the glands to produce that hormones. When the glands have produced the hormones, when the concentration goes up to the normal level, that normal concentration reads, which is the hormone at a certain concentration, goes to the brain and tells the brain to stop producing that hormone. This is called the activation, the retroactivation and the retro inhibition. Okay, this is how, and this is for all hormones like insulin, aldosterone, and also all protein hormones and all steroid hormones, which is from cholesterol. Okay, which is the sex hormones and the glucocorticoid hormones. Okay, so the rationale about this is that the logic behind this retro inhibition and activation, okay, is when there are, from cholesterol, the brain reads the amount of concentration on all these, okay, and when there's too much of these hormones, let's say there's too much androstenedione, okay, in the body, which is produced by the serenal glands, okay, the brain reads off that there's too much androstenedione, so the brain will send out signal to stop the production, stop the changing of cholesterol into progesterone and so on. So these two molecules will lower in concentration because there's too much androstenedione. Well, since 17-beta-estradiol, okay, I don't know about Westrol. If there's too much Westrol in the body, it's the same thing, okay. The high concentration of Westrol will tell the brain to stop transforming cholesterol into progesterone and so on, okay, so all the cascade. But the most important hormone out there is 17-beta-estradiol, because 17-beta-estradiol is important for the brain and also the bones, okay, and also, well, the sex for the body, the secondary sex characteristics is not important, okay, for the body it's not important. I'll explain that in another video, okay. So when you're placing patches of when a boy places patches of 17, or a man, 17-beta-estradiol on their skin, all that gets into the bloodstream. The blood with a lot of S17 beta estradiol or westrol gets into the brain, goes into the brain, and then the brain reads off there's too many estrogen on the body, in the body, so send out it will block off. What it does, it will block off the gonadic releasing hormone, an hormone that tells the testicle to produce more testosterone, because testosterone is a precursor of the estrogens, okay, and vice versa. Same thing with women. When women has too much estrogen, it will lower their progesterone because there's too much estrogen, okay. So this is the rationale behind it, of like women's natural estrogen as a anti-androgen, because if there's too much of it in the body will stop producing testosterone or progesterone for girls, testosterone for man, or progesterone for women. Okay, so this is it. Okay, and okay, so I'll come up. So that's it for now. Okay, so to recap, just try to find out if it's true that when you put these patches, the Sandoz patches on top of your skin, when the patch falls off, does it mean that all the sticky part has been on your skin? Or is it Estradot is a much better patch than the Sandoz? Like, I don't know, okay? But I've been trying, and since I got heightened sense of smell, okay, badly since I started taking, I can't remember when I started, like either the beginning of August or whatever, but it's being the beginning of August, I had problems, smelling problems I started getting. It's starting to get heightened. So every odor that I smell is very aggressive towards me. Okay, so